I am doing more sales meetings over Zoom right now. I'm not sure what's important to be able to be sure my Zoom meetings go well with that sort of stuff. That's something a DJ the other day asked me, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it today. This is Creative License. I'm Bill, and thanks again for being a part of the Little Dog and Pony Show. Thanks for being so nice to my sponsors like Disc Jockey News, Perfect Portals, DJ Event Planner, Promo Only, of course, Electro Voice speakers and microphones, and of course my workshop, The Entertainment Experience. If you want to know more about the workshop, just reach out. I'd love to tell you more about it. So they wanted to know what's most important to be sure that you go over when you're doing Zoom calls for your sales meetings or your planning meetings. Well, there's a couple of things. Number one, that we need to worry about or think about on a regular basis is how we're perceived. Okay, the perception of what a DJ is, isn't that great? So for us to show up in a little more professional way, I think that's something to take into consideration, what you wear, if you're on time, all of those things that you would regularly have to do. You'd have to take care of if you're doing a Zoom call. When it comes to the Zoom call itself, you're on camera. So like this, you're in a square, right? So the things that they see are really, really important. What you see with my little show here, I probably wouldn't make it this casual. Okay, this is pretty casual. This is in my office. Like, kind of got a corner. You've got, some of the things that are hanging in my office that are, they're my toys, the things that I'm comfortable about working around. But what's behind you, I think, is really important. So if you have some sort of a backdrop that's more professional, maybe there's some books behind you. Maybe I've talked to DJs that have like a wall behind them with their logo and with awards that are hanging on the wall, things like that. I think that's helpful. Where your camera is situated, and if in fact it catches you in the best light, and the lighting and how you're lit when you do this, I think is really important as well. But those are the technical things, like where the camera's situated, where you are framed, what it looks like, if it's well lit, how you're dressed. Okay, if you look into the camera lens or not, I have a trouble with that one sometimes because oftentimes when you do these little videos, or when I do videos, I can see myself. And in Zoom, you can see yourself too. So our eye kind of tends to go to the person we're talking to, or we see ourselves talking, so we look over at ourselves, or we look over at the client, but they're on the screen over there, but really you should be looking into the lens. These are technical things, okay? And then when I told him about that, he goes, yeah, but in a Zoom call, what do I ask? What are the questions I should ask? Okay, here's your questions. What are you interested in? I mean, really, what do you want to know about this potential client? This person that might have the permission from you to hire them. I mean, why don't you take that into consideration, okay? They get to hire you. So who do you want to work for you? And what kind of questions would you ask? How would you get to know them? To be able to find out that you're sitting across from somebody who's really interesting, someone that you can do great work for. Have you thought about that? Or why don't you just start with the same kind of things you'd ask a person if you met them on the street and you had a conversation. Who are you? What's your name? Where do you live? Oh, really? I know that town. Did you go to school? What school? How did you guys meet? If you're meeting a couple for a wedding, how did you guys meet? If you're meeting a corporate, so tell me about your company. When did it start? What does it do? What does your company really do? Is it just a bank? What are the things that are important to you? Who's the big boss and what's important to that person? What are the things that you would be curious about if you weren't asking them to hire you? How about take on the consideration that you're not going to ask them to hire you? Try that. And that's going to happen sometime during the call. You're going to ask for the sale. But before that happens, if you took out of your brain that I can't believe, I've got to do my best to really impress them, and they got to really be impressed with the questions and the way I look and all that stuff, take all that out of the equation. They're not going to hire you. So now what do you ask them? Because that's what's real. You want to be authentic? I think you should be. And authenticity comes from really actually asking questions you want to know, not the questions that are going to get them to the close. The close is just, hey, I think we're a good fit. We should work together. This is how you can work with me. I hope that we do. That's a close right there. Beyond that, if you're going to get into convincing, or you're going to get into getting past any of their worries or any of their objections, that's another talk, okay? But when it comes to creating an authentic relationship, why not be curious? I mean, really, you already are a curious person. You do this and are curious with people all the time. So why wouldn't you be curious with this person? So just let your curiosity find the questions. If you got to write them down. But I've never had to do that, and I don't think you do either. What do you think of this? What do you do? Do you have a strategy, or do you just want to get to know people? Write it down in the comments below. Do me a favor and tell people about the podcast. I want to get more people to listen, okay? Do me a favor and subscribe and like and smash the buttons you're supposed to and tell some people. Until next week, this is Bill, and this is Creative License.